Whoopsies. Now, in one of my last videos, I made this bonsai. It's backlit terribly. And I talked about how there were two azaleas in the pot. And I had to split them up. So this is the one that lost most of its roots, which is, not great, but this happens with bonsai. And this brings me to trunk and root training, which is important. So let's talk about it briefly. So basically what I'm going to be doing here, I want to save this. I'm not just going to throw it away. One, that's not really nice for the plant, and two, it was $30 azalea. So I want to stretch this out as much as I can. I could have two instead of just the one. Why spend $30? I'm only going to have half the plant, even though it came out just lovely. Still, I'm going to try and keep this. So I have a nice organic blend of soil in here, no chemicals. There is some very old depleted slow release in there, but I'm not too worried about that. The reason I'm going organic for this is because I really want to encourage as much root growth as possible, and to do that, the mycorrhiza bacteria, fungi, that grows around your roots, they have kind of a symbiotic relationship that's really beneficial to encourage root growth. And a lot of chemicals will impede that from happening. So basically I'm going to pot this up and then show you how I do the pruning. There we go. All done. Nice and potted. Didn't bother. All I did was pot it. You don't need to see that. It's just dirt. Make sure the roots have dirt all around them. You're not pushing too hard. Basic stuff. Here's where things get a little bit more tricky. Now, I want to encourage root growth, which means this needs to be cut back, but I'm not going to cut it back all the way because it still needs foliage, because that's where the chlorophyll is, and that's what makes the energy that's going to help it grow more roots. And then the roots bring up water and help, there's a relationship there. So it's important to not trim off everything. So I'm going to try and encourage trunk growth. To do that, I want to find the main trunk. That runs right along here, all the way up. I'm sorry if a lot is out of focus. My hands have dirt on them, so it's hard for me to control my screen. So basically, this is probably going to make a lot of people cringe, but most of these branches are coming off. Yeah, that's what you got to do. It's not, it's kind of heartbreaking, but, we really want these roots to survive. In order to get those roots going, you got to make some cuts. You want to make them nice and clean. Make sure your clippers are sterilized. You want to get them as smooth and as possible. There are other tools you can use to help get in there, but I'm not to that point yet. That's something I'll do later. So, and then the majority of this green growth here, a lot of that's going to go too. It's gotta go. Sorry, azalea. I'm so sorry, but I'm doing this to make you feel better. And that's probably going to be kind of hard to believe, but this will help save the azalea. And in the long run, I actually think it's going to look prettier. But it's just, this is a bloomathon too, so it's covered in flowers and flower buds, and flowering takes a lot of energy out of plants. I don't want it focused on flowering right now. It needs to be focused on producing new roots. So almost kind of, you could say, deadheading the buds, if you will. Because if you don't do this, it's gonna die. So even though it doesn't look that pretty, in the long run, it's better for the plant. So this is going to help create a nice, healthy azalea down the road. Here we go. I should probably take off even more than this, but for right now, I think that this is decent. Okay, so there we have it. This has been pruned. Once it starts to get its roots down and going, these side shoots will probably come off too. So it's just going to be trunk here. I'm going to start treating the trunk to thicken out. And this is, a multi-year process, but hey, it's worth it. And I actually think that looks kind of cute. I'm alright with this. What do you think? Any tips or suggestions?